Hi, I'm Asatsu5, and this is the Glock Model 78 review. And I'm going to go ahead and get the stats out of the way, and that way we can talk about the knife. The knife itself, I'll get it out of the sheath. The blade from heel to heel, tip to tang, or where the tang begins, is 6.5 inches, and the overall length from butt to a tip is 11.4 inches. And for my viewers overseas, the blade length is 165 millimeters, and the overall length is 290 millimeters. The weight is 206 grams or 206 grams, or it is 7.27 ounces. It's made out of the same material as the Glock knife, that polymer, and it comes in 3 different colors: black, olive drab, and sand, which is going to be more of a coyote tan khaki color. And the steel is a spring steel, rock field hardness 55, phosphorate treated. Not sure what the phosphorate treating does, but they took the time to add it into those stats, so I imagine it's pretty important. But what I'm here is to talk about the knife itself. Before I started with this review, I removed the butt cap on this knife. You can see that it's hollow, and that is a feature that this knife can do, albeit it is extremely difficult and pretty much impractical. Most likely you're going to leave it in or leave it out. Not to say that other Glock knives might be a tad easier, and I'll explain that later, but I'll go ahead and tell you what this could be used for. This could be used to put fire starting equipment like matches, maybe some kind of fuel like cotton ball and Vaseline. You could stuff it in there. You could put fishing line, fish hook, needle thread. You could roll up some 20s, put it in there, leave this knife in your truck. That way if you ever break down, you have a good sized knife, depending on your local laws, if it's legal to do that. But you can have a nice sized knife in your truck or car, vehicle, and also have some spare money in case you break down. But this knife is also designed and balanced for throwing, and that's why I say that this butt cap might be a tad bit easier to remove if you haven't thrown it, because when you first starting to throw this knife, getting used to it, you're obviously going to hit your target with the butt. Smashing this thing into the butt cap can, smashing this butt cap into its cavity can make it a little bit more difficult to remove. But you can put it back in there. Also, before I put this butt cap back on, you could also thread a lanyard through there. In case you want to keep a lanyard on your knife, you can remove the butt cap, thread a lanyard through it, and you're ready to go. Go ahead and put this back on. Should be fairly simple. Yeah, it's a lot easier to put it on than it is to take it out. But anyways, this is the Glock knife. You can find it anywhere from like $25 to $30, some roundabout. Add $1, take $1, depending on the store. So it's a very affordable knife, especially at $25. And this is actually my brother's knife, and he's going to have a separate video where it's going to be a field test on the Glock field knife, and he's going to run it through his paces, test it on different mediums. He's going to throw it for you, do some cutting, and that's going to be on his channel, Chemo Kid 1SS. And I'll add a link to the description box when he gets that video up. But this is going to be the video review. Anyways, like I said, this is the Glock knife. It's my brother's, and if you subscribe to me, you've seen my camping trip video, and you saw the file that we made. Now, I did just throw a bunch of sticks in there. We did start off with a fairly small file, but we wanted a bigger file, one that would last all night. And we did some wood processing with this knife. And believe it or not, for as small as it is, it has a pretty thick blade for how for relatively how small of a belly it has. It has a fairly nice wedge shape to it. And it did a pretty decent job of splitting wood using the batoning method. Every now and then it'll get stuck in there. We'll kind of have to bang it out, and you know, you can see where the tip is kind of worn from hitting it with a batoning stick. And but you can do some small to medium sized batoning with this knife. It did a very good job. Some other features that this knife has, besides being balanced for throwing, is this acts as a cap lifter. If you drink from any glass bottle, whether it be beer, soda, or just a very fancy sparkling water, you know, this will act as a cap lifter, and you can open up glass bottles with it. You can also use that as a pry ball. You know, if you need to pry something open, you can shove it in there and pry it. Or they are advertised on Glock's website that you actually can use the blade as a pry ball to open for light pry walk, which usually prying with a knife is not a recommended chore for a knife. It's really not good for the blade. Very likely that you can actually break the blade, but this is a spring steel. I'm pretty sure it can take light prying jobs like crates, wooden boxes, ammunition boxes, and I believe it'll do the job. This has a very sturdy point on it, great for piercing. If you had to open up a can of food with it, I'm pretty sure you can. Very confident in that. I have not used it as a can opener yet, but just looking at it, feeling it, past experiences with other knives, I'm sure this will get the job done. If we go over here and look at the sheath real quick, has a lanyard hole, which we have a 550 lanyard through it. It has the 550 cord has been gutted, so it does not have the strands in it. And it also has a drain hole in case you drop the sheath into a thing of water, or you fall into a pond, or you decide to use this diving or anything like that. You can dive with this knife as long as you maintain it, oil it. And so it has a drain hole so it can drain out and the blade can dry up. And the locking mechanism is this thing right here. I don't know necessarily what you would call it. I'm just going to call it a latch. Pop it in, and there's no possible way that knife's going to come out unless you want it to come out. And it can be drawn with one hand, like you see right there. Just pretend this is on your leg. Bring your thumb out. You can draw it with one hand. It's going to take a little bit of practice, but it can be done. And it's also ambidextrous. You're going to hold it on your right side, put it in this way. If you're going to put it on your left side of your body, just reverse it, and it's ambidextrous. This knife has a lot of good qualities about it, but I am going to talk about some kind of downsides for this knife, which are not major. When you buy this knife, you just got to expect you will know its advantages, and you got to expect some disadvantages to come with those advantages. One of the disadvantages is the blade shape. If you look at it, it's very reminiscent of a bayonet, and most of us should know, who's ever played with a bayonet or bought a bayonet or owned a bayonet, know that bayonets are not really the sharpest edged weapon in the world. In fact, bayonets were never designed to be a cutting tool as far as a knife goes. Bayonets were designed as a not slashing, but a thrusting tool. And the bayonet really is supposed to act as a pike, or you might be more familiar as a spill. And really, the bayonet katas, if you know what a kata is, form the practice drills for a bayonet are the exact same as the pike drills of medieval Europe. So bayonets aren't supposed to be razor sharp, and when this comes to you from the factory, it is not razor sharp at all, which is just functionality of this design. My brother, who is a sharpening genius, and he's reprofiled blades for me, my dad, himself. He reprofiled this and gave it a chisel ground edge, and he's gotten this thing shaving sharp before. Of course, after using it in the woods, it's no longer shaving sharp, but it still can cut extremely well. But you just gotta know it's a very straight blade, holding no belly to it. There's no curvature to the blade, so it's not going to stay in the cut as long. And as we all know, that the longer the blade stays in the cut, the deeper the cut's going to be. Now, what kind of knife is this? It's a tactical / utility knife. Is it a great hunting knife? No. Is it a great fighting knife? Well, it could be a good fighting knife, but it's not perfect. It is what I like to call the, everything knife. It's not going to cut as good as some other everything knives, or like what I like to put general purpose fixed blade survival tactile blades, like the SLK, or knives in the same category as medium survival knife. This is really, it's not going to perform as good as some of those knives with a different blade shape. And, it's just, it's a fat, skinny blade. It's not going to stay razor sharp when you get it from the factory unless you just do something to it. But it will get, excuse me, my camera just kind of went a little crazy on me. Anyways, since this doesn't have the curvature or the belly or any of that, it's you're most likely going to have to use kind of a sawing motion with it. I did use this while we went camping. It cut just fine, but it's just not going to be to the level of other knives. I think I was talking about other medium survival do anything knives like the SLK or whatever. Those are great tactile / medium sized survival knives, and they do great in the in those jobs. And I'm very confident that this will be a great tactile knife, and I know it's a very decent camp knife. My brother calls it his backpacking knife because it is fairly lightweight. It's what did I say? It was, already forgot. It weighed 7.27 ounces. And it batoned wood very well. It has the ability to pierce and open thin metal like a can, and has a very strong point to it, bounce while throwing. So if you had to, you can use it for hunting small game. If you're like me and you kind of like to dabble in weird hunting methods like throwing sticks, slingshots, bows, and you practice throwing knives, you can take out rabbit, possum, anything small like that with this pretty easily. It's very comfortable in the hand with that glock polymer material. Very easy to maneuver. But pretty much its only downside is, from the factory, the edge sucks. It's I'm really not even comfortable with calling it a utility edge, but it is pretty simple to sharpen up, and it's a little bit harder, but still pretty simple to reprofile if you have that kind of knowledge. If not, you can send it to someone who does know how to reprofile blades and get them to put whatever kind of grind you want it, whether it be a full flat grind or a chisel grind. If you want to change the profile of the blade, it can be done, but for the price, it's hard to be beaten. You know, $25. I think my Bushman from Cold Steel was about $20 when I first got it, which is an extremely good camp knife, slash, you know, medium survival knife. But this, I can't tell you, my brother's thrown this so many times. Just he's had a lot of fun with it. Anyways, any more problems I have with it besides the edge? Not really. Another critique is this butt cap is very hard to remove. I think I mentioned that before, and it's almost impractical to remove it. But you do have the option to remove it and put a lanyard through that hole, or to stuff survival gear in there and seal it up, and it will hold any small items in there. That is my review over the Glock knife. I must say I'm extremely happy with this knife. I've been thinking about getting it for a long time, but I just never brought myself to do it. And my brother finally said, I'll go ahead and buy it. And of course, he has the knowledge about sharpening and reprofiling blades. He bought it, turned it into a really awesome knife, and now I'm kind of jealous that I didn't buy it. And let's see what else I'll say. Also, one more thing, I have not personally handled the other version of this knife with the sawback, but a general rule that I go by, this is completely my opinion. This is not the final word. This is just my opinion, but they have a version of this knife with a sawback on it, and I tend to stay away from knives with sawbacks because usually they really don't do that good of a job of sawing. You'll probably be better off batoning with the knife than you would be sawing, and you know, you'll probably use less energy batoning with this knife. And I've always just had this deal about, well, what if I had to use a knife in a thrust attack and it has that really cheesy sawback on it? Will it snag when I try to draw it out? And some people don't say, well, it's not really a sawback, it's a notcher. Well, I can notch with the blade itself. So my opinion, the sawback is not necessary. It's not recommended by me, although some people might like it. I'm not saying that sawbacks are, you know, evil or anything. It's just my opinion. I stay away from sawbacks, and if you get the sawback version, it's probably going to cost you a few more dollars. So my recommendation is to stay with the original Glock knife. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope you found it both entertaining and educational. And while I'm on the subject of survival / tactical knives, I'm just going to go ahead and point out there's kind of a difference between fighting knives and what you generally see as military knives. Fighting knives, I don't have the full fixed blade version. It's more of like this Satsu or a double-edged dagger, or one of them fits and buoys that I've often seen on YouTube that I've always wanted but can't afford. Those are pretty much fighting knives built for the sole purpose of fighting. And a lot of times you don't see those knives, which are very, very you know, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Brain just stopped working. But they're very good fighting knives, built for the sole purpose of fighting and or killing. I want to go ahead and say it. But yet you see more of K-balls, SRKs. You see these Glock knives, other field type knives in the being used in the military, is because most of the time in the military you're not using your knife as a combat weapon, it's a utility tool. And I believe that this Glock knife has a very good balance between both tactical knife and utility knife. And I don't know if I mentioned that in the first part of this video because my not battery, but my camera memory kind of messed up on me. But I wanted to go ahead and point that out to you. There is a difference between fighting knives and tactical utility knives. Tactical utility knives are built for several purposes beyond the actual martial art concept of knives. They're built for different reasons besides fighting. These things, like the K-ball, SRK, Glock knife, they're built for many different reasons. You know, for your outdoor task, your urban task, and your soldiering task. And this is a good example of bringing all of those together. I'm a Satsu 5. I am now done talking about the knife. I am out.